Hello, Skystreak with you. How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? Hopefully well. I'm doing alright, except for the problems that we're faced with that nobody seems to pay attention to. You know the ones, the clear evident ones, the things that people should know about at least later than when it happened, like Fukushima, for example. It's been almost 3 years ago that tsunami hit the coast of Japan. It was in March of 2011. All over the fucking news. CNN was covering it. MSNBC and Fox. All over the place. They had to show you the disaster because people leech on fear and they like to see the devastation, and it makes you feel like your life's just okay. I think that's why they do it. Anyway, back to my point. So they air this for, I guess, probably a week and a half, and then it starts to just fluff away like every other top story. And since then, none of those mass media brainwashing fucking companies have even shown a little idiots, if that's a word, pertaining to Fukushima since then. We have a meltdown of 3 nuclear reactors going on right now. And that's the biggest in history, the largest nuclear disaster in history unfolding before my eyes. And I say my eyes because I've been paying attention while you were watching the fucking stupid-ass Super Bowl, which was a shutout game, and then you continued to rant and rave about it for days after. Anyway, so moving along. Yeah, it's one of the biggest nuclear disasters in history. My cat is in the studio, so if you notice any movement of the tripod, it's normal if you've watched my videos in the past, so no biggie. The ocean is dying over there, folks. Do you like seafood? I love seafood. But you know what? I have a very strong position on not eating it lately, because it could be radioactive. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. You can't see it. And the acceptable milliberts, I guess is the term, over there in Japan is significantly lower than America. Why? Because they just don't give a fuck about you. It's all about sales and the big corporations like Chicken of the Sea and all the marketers of tuna fish and sardines, and they'll eat it. Fuck them. If they get thyroid cancer and die, well, we just made $2 billion last year. It's all about money these days, you know. And speaking about the ocean dying and becoming dead, the food chain will suffer. Every last animal that's involved. The big fish that eat the next size smaller fish, who eat the smaller fish than that, and on down the line, and the birds eat the fish in the... It's a cycle that's supposed to be here. And they built a nuclear power plant on a fucking fault line. What were they fucking thinking in the first place? Now, all the TEPCO workers, at least the first batch that started working on the reactors, are dead because of overexposure. If you went there right now and stood next to reactor number 4 with no protective gear on, you would be dead in about 20 to 30 minutes. That's how bad it is, folks. And that plume of radiation that went off You saw it on the news. CNN covered that too. And here we are, we're watching reactor number 4 as it explodes, and oh, look at that, the big explosion, that plume of radiation that went in there. Where do you think that went? Right into the jet stream headed for the west coast. And don't fool yourself, if you live on the west coast, you have probably come in contact with some radiation. And if you follow the jet stream the way that it's set up, it's not just the west coast that's going to be affected, folks. It's going to keep spreading itself like a fucking disease across the nation. So this would bring me to disasters and the power structure. Now we all know what the Georgia Guidestones say. There's many messages inscribed on those big-ass monolithic tombstone-looking fucking things. One of which is world depopulation. Now, there's a lot of conspiracy behind Fukushima. Some say it was perpetrated by some people that went and put depth-charge bombs on the fault line that it sits on and made it happen. I can't dispute that either direction. All I know is that it did happen. And now, we have to deal with it. But back to the Georgia Guidestones. If it was perpetrated by mankind, what's going to happen? A lot of people are going to die of cancer over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, I guarantee it. Well, we can't say that Fukushima caused it. Yes, I can almost say at least 85% of that would be true, because it is my belief, next to GMO foods and other harmful things that we consumers have to purchase, harm our lives in a big way, and radiation is probably one of the worst. So, don't mark my words, but watch for that in the next 5 years, huh? So, meanwhile, throughout that phase of history, when it comes, those elitists, the oligarch that exists behind President Obama, the fucking puppet, are trying to get you to be dependent upon government, and they're trying really hard, and they think they're going to succeed. I can name a few examples as to why this is going to drive down America. Obamacare, for one. People on food stamp programs. No disaster relief, what do I do now? Unemployment is running out, what do I do now? Problem, reaction, solution. It's the same old plan that's been going on for decades. Only now they think they're the rulers of every fucking city and continent on the globe. But, let me tell you this. They have to survive, too. They think they're above everything. My summation is this is, they'll die too, all in the name of their greed and power and corruptness that they've been using against us. It's full cycle. It's not rocket science. If you try to have too much power, ultimately you will fail too. It's happened in the past over and over and over again. So that's all I got. Just kind of wanted to belt out some opinions on Fukushima, and there's probably many more things I could talk about on that subject, but it only gets me a little bit down, you know? I like dolphins, I like whales, I like the albatross and starfish and shrimp and sharks and all the beautiful things that lurk in that beautiful underwater world, but to imagine in my mind that this one disaster, man-made or not, can change the whole ecosystem for eternity, says to me that we, as the supposed smartest, most intelligent species on the planet, can continue to do such foolish things and not even bat an eye and make fucking excuses and not even let your local media channels or your mass media channels cover it and just turn the blind eye. We're all fucked, America, if that's the case. So I hope I opened some eyes talking to you this evening. And that's all I got. If you have any comments, shoot them down below. Leave a link with some information. Say hi. Introduce yourself. Call me a fuckstick. Call me crazy. I don't care. But that's where they go. And, as always, peace. And I'm out.